Here at DOE, we believe that technological innovation can turn waste into useful products. That's why over the past year we've been working relentlessly on developing a market-driven, regional approach to help accelerate the deployment of carbon capture technologies within the industrial sector. Many industrial processes like ethanol production, oil refining, and steel making produce carbon dioxide, also known as CO2, as a byproduct. Sometimes the CO2 is a relatively pure stream. Currently, many industries simply release it in the atmosphere. But what if we could put that CO2 to work instead of releasing it? It turns out that some industries like oil and gas already view CO2 as a commodity. But instead of buying CO2 that's emitted into the air, they buy naturally occurring CO2 because previously easier and cheaper than buying CO2 from industrial processes. That now has changed. The cost of CO2 capture and transport technologies are getting cheaper so that instead of emitting into the atmosphere, it can be bought and sold like any other commodity. Our goal is to increase CO2 being captured around the country. In regions where there is currently CO2 supply and demand, we are connecting buyers and sellers who are geographically close and where the barriers and expenses associated with CO2 are minimal. In some cases, this means capitalizing on existing CO2 transport networks. Take, for example, the Petronova project in Thompson, Texas, that just went live in December of last year. Petronova will capture approximately 90% of the CO2 emissions from one of its units in the power plant and sell that CO2 to an oil field 83 miles away in West Ranch, Texas. The oil field managers will use the CO2 to increase oil production from 500 barrels to 15,000 barrels per day using enhanced oil recovery, or EOR. This means a waste product will improve and secure domestic energy by ensuring we use the full potential of our existing projects and resources. Over the life of the project, some 60 million barrels of oil are projected to be produced at West Ranch. The Petronova project and those like it combine innovative technology with novel financing models to create a new marketplace for a vital industry. These strategic joint ventures bring together electric power generators, carbon capture technology vendors, CO2 pipeline builders, EOR oil field operators, and the banking community. Already, one such project has received the first ever advanced fossil energy loan guarantee from DOE's Loan Program Office. These projects aren't just good for our energy security, they are good for the economy. Together, they will create thousands of construction jobs and hundreds of permanent jobs. These jobs will stimulate and support thousands of indirect regional jobs, including those in coal. In addition, they will help ensure that existing industries like manufacturing remain competitive in a worldwide market while reducing up to 90% of their CO2 emissions. We know that in order to accelerate the deployment of these projects and technologies, we have to meet stakeholders and listen to what they say. Since 2016, we have thrown ourselves wholeheartedly into this engagement, meeting with stakeholders and advocates in both the public and private sectors. For example, we hosted an industrial capture forum in the Gulf region, which was attended by 44 public and private participants, representing state and federal government, CO2 providers and users, policy enablers, and financiers. We're planning similar meetings across the country. The United States has long been a leader in technology and economic innovation, and DOE is committed to ensuring that's where we remain. After years of research and experience, we're ready to deploy innovative carbon capture technology in more industrial sectors. The timing could not be better. Opportunity abounds across the country to create new partnerships in mature marketplaces.